What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, and I'm here for the news. We're going to be going over this clip today of Daniel Penny to face manslaughter charges for chokehold that ultimately killed Jordan Neely. Now, let me say this before I even get this clip going. Do I agree with fighting on the homeless? No. Unless that homeless person is touching you or harming you in any way, me personally, this is me personally, would never, ever, ever put my hands on a homeless person. Why? Not because just because they're homeless, because a lot of these homeless people carry a lot of different things, whether it be hepatitis, HIV, you have all these different new diseases, COVID, monkeypox. And I remember my cousin stayed in San Diego, got into a fight with a homeless person. And I told him, you can never win a fight with a homeless person. If he bites you and you get hepatitis, even if you won the fight, you lost. So do I agree with holding down or choking a homeless person? Absolutely not. I do not agree with that at all. Now, I do understand on the subway system in New York, like I said in the last video, it's like Gotham down there. The police are doing a terrible job. There should be a police at this point on every subway. The mental illness is through the roof. It's ridiculous. And you have a lot of people down there talking to themselves. They're attacking people. I've seen videos of people being pushed on the subway tracks. I've seen all type of wacky things going on down in that subway system. Now, between these two men, I said in the last video, Daniel Penny, do I think they would formally charge him? I thought there was a low chance of that, but I said if they did charge him, it's going to be extremely hard to prove that he went on that train trying and wanting to kill him. Now, with the second degree manslaughter, they can just say it was negligence in the chokehold and he held him too long. They say he choked him for like 3 minutes. But until we get the full clip, which believe you me, there is a full clip of this. Until we get the full clip, we have to insinuate what happened. Was he attacking people, lunging at people? I don't know. I know in the past they say he hit a 67-year-old woman in the face and broke her nose and her eye socket. But the court system is going, the prosecution is going to say, you didn't know that. You know, they're going to basically tell Daniel Penny, ain't like Daniel Penny knew who he was and said, oh, this man is going to, he already hit a 67-year-old woman, so I had to choke him. So it's going to be extremely difficult to try this case. But if that video shows that Daniel Penny was the aggressor, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. If the video shows Jordan Neely was being aggressive towards the passengers, it's going to be a lot easier for Daniel Penny. So it can go either way. But like I said, I don't agree with fighting on the homeless. I'm not fighting the homeless. A homeless person can say whatever they want to me. I'm going to ignore it and keep on going because I can't win a fight with him. Even if I fight him, he scratches me and I get I get some kind of staph infection, I lose. But let's take a look at the clip.
These charges come after protests broke out in the week and a half since Neely died. Let's get right to Kendall Green with the latest on those charges. Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Steve Natasha. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg shared his plans to arrest.
And I said these other two guys who was holding his arms, I don't know how they get off. How do they get off? I think one of the guys who looked like a Puerto Rican was holding his arms and the other guy was kind of lightweight, put his hands in there. But the guy who was holding his arms, I don't know. Is 3 minutes too long? It can be. We know that. I watched the UFC. You put somebody in a chokehold, and it doesn't take long for them to fall out. So 3 minutes is a long time. It is. And if you put somebody in a chokehold, you have to know, choking this person, I have to let them go. How long do you choke them? Those are the questions that are going to be asked in court.
And charged Marine Corps veteran with second-degree manslaughter, which carries up to a 15-year sentence. Jordan Neely's death has stirred outrage within the last 10 days since he died after being placed in a chokehold. After protests in the street and on New York City subways.
And let me say this about the protesters. A lot of these protesters, in my personal opinion, are nothing but a bunch of attention seekers. Now, on the New York subway system, there are plenty of people who need help, who need food, water, All this energy and money they spending down there protesting, they could have went to the grocery store, got a bunch of food, a bunch of bottles of water. They've been handing out food and water. And I'm pretty sure you got a few psychologists down here. You could have helped in so many different ways the homeless instead of going down there helping a man who's already gone. What about the living? It seems like we stay in a society that only cares about the dead. What about the living? This is ridiculous. And that's why I say a lot of these people down here are just attention seekers. Do I think the average person who's at this protest give a damn about the homeless in New York? I do not. I don't even think you guys really care that much about the homeless. And you might have a few people who come in who do go down and feed. And if you do, shout out to you. I'm not talking about you. But the average person doesn't care about the homeless and are mentally ill. That's just factual. So people coming down here playing this game, I'm not buying it for one goddamn second.
It's been a week since the world saw Jordan Neely killed.
Constant calls for accountability from politicians and calls for calm from New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
There were many people who tried to help Jordan get the support he needed.
10 days after 30-year-old Jordan Neely.
And you can tell they're playing politics because the pictures that they show of him is in the most glowing light. Him as Michael Jackson. They don't show him when he look like the damn fool homeless man who's talking to himself and need a bunch of mental help. But you could tell this is becoming extremely political. Don't forget, we got a presidential election coming up. They're going to race bait and play everything that they possibly can. There's no doubt about that.
He died after 24-year-old Marine veteran Daniel Penny put him in a chokehold on the F train. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office confirming they expect to charge Penny with second-degree manslaughter in Neely's death.
I think that some people are going to be upset about this, that it wasn't more serious, and I think there are others who wish that they saw no charges at all.
Andrew Cherkasky is a former federal prosecutor.
And I'm with him on that. There are going to be people who completely disagree and people who think that he shouldn't be charged at all, and people think, man, these charges weren't enough. They should have went a little bit further.
He tells Fox 5 the facts that could turn the charge into a conviction are and should remain the focus.
I think that this case is going to focus most on what happened in the train car, as opposed to the history of either the accused person or the decedent in this case.
Neely, a Michael Jackson impersonator, had a history of mental health issues and multiple arrests. The New York City medical examiner ruled Neely died from compression of the neck.
They're going to look at what predicated the actual engagement between the two.
Let me ask y'all a question in the comments. Why do you think we have such a problem with mental health now? I mean, we've always had people that, was a little bit crazy, but it seems like over the past 20 to 30 years, the mental health has shot through the roof of people who are schizophrenic or, need psych meds or contemplating suicide or just ready to just end it all. It has skyrocketed. Me personally, I think it stems from a lot of childhood. There's a lot more abuse, mental, physical, a lot of sexual abuse that comes from childhood that is extremely traumatic for people, and it's hard for them to get over. Not in all cases. Obviously, some people just, everything ain't connected right. They ain't wired right. But the amount of cases now is just completely overwhelming. What do you think?
And why it went on for so long.
Stephen Razor, the attorney representing Penny, shared this statement saying in part, "We are confident that once all of the facts and circumstances surrounding this tragic incident are brought to bear, Mr. Penny will be fully absolved of any wrongdoing." A spokesperson for Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg said in a statement announcing his intent to charge Penny, quote, "We cannot provide any additional information until he has been arraigned in Manhattan criminal court." Neely will be laid to rest at the Mount Nebo Baptist Church on May 19th, where Reverend Al Sharpton has been asked to deliver his eulogy. His arraignment is expected.
And they got Al Sharpton, so they playing politics now. They always say, everybody cared, everybody was trying to, nobody gave a damn. The man was down there hungry, and it wasn't a sandwich in sight.
Expected to take place tomorrow, and the federal prosecutor predicts it could take months, if not a year, to go to trial. Steve Natasha, Barrel Bank Scandal.
But, I just wanted to go over that clip right quick, you guys. We will be doing more updates on this video, but in between the time of the trial, there will be so many more different cases and mass shootings and all type of chicanery going on here in this country. Obviously, like I said before, this country has a demonic spirit over it, so there will be no shortage of cases for you to agree on or disagree on. But I just want to go over that. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, my favorite for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. You should never fight the homeless man. He just might bite you and give you hepatitis. Ride. Peace.